You don't know what else to do. There, her lips trembled. I'm not asking for money. I didn't think you were. He cut in. I'm not offering money. I'm offering options. Options? Options? You and the baby? Pack a bag? I'll send a car. You can say no when it gets there. But at least let someone open a door for you before you decide to keep walking in the cold. Anna was silent for a moment. Her eyes went to Liam, who had fallen asleep on the floor wrapped in a towel because she hadn't finished laundry. Just for tonight. He didn't answer, but 30 minutes later, a sleek black car with tinted windows pulled up in front of her crumbling apartment building. Inside, she was about to enter a world she didn't belong to and a man she couldn't afford to trust. Anna had never seen anything like it. The black luxury car moved like a whisper through the city streets, gliding into a private drive beyond tall iron gates that opened without a sound. Liam slept in her arms, but her heart wouldn't calm. She watched the lights blur past. Everything so polished, so clean, so untouchable. So clean, so untouchable. She didn't belong here. When the car stopped, a uniformed housekeeper opened the door. "A Miss Anna." "Welcome," the woman said kindly. "A Mr. Wolf is inside. Follow me." Anna stepped into the mansion, shoes squeaking against marble. The house was cathedral-like. White stone walls, golden lighting, glass everywhere. And silence, deep and heavy, like no one ever laughed here. Damon Wolf was waiting in a dark sweater and slacks, standing by a fireplace that didn't need to be on, but was. When he saw her, he nodded toward the stairs. "A room's ready. Fresh sheets, formulas already stocked." She stared at him. "Why are you doing this?" He didn't look at her. "Because I know what it's like to cry in secret and pretend you're not drowning." His words hit like a blow. She wanted to ask what he meant, but she was too tired. Liam whimpered softly. Her arms were shaking from carrying him all day. "Come on," Damon said, suddenly softer. "You don't have to trust me. Just rest." He led her upstairs to a guest room bigger than her entire apartment. There were soft lights, a crib she hadn't asked for, warm blankets, and a bathroom that looked like a spa. She set Liam down for the first time in hours. He sighed and curled up in the crib, like it belonged to him. Anna sat on the edge of the bed and stared at her hands. They were cracked from cold, shaking from hunger. She had no idea how to exist here. Later, she walked quietly back down the stairs. Damon was sitting alone in the dark, a drink in his hand. She expected him to look smug. He didn't. He looked broken. He didn't reply. He just stared into the fire. Anna turned to go, but paused at the door. "You live in a palace, Mr. Wolf," she said quietly. "Oh, but your eyes look like they've been in a war." And for the first time, he looked up, straight at her. "And yours look like you lost," he said. Morning in the mansion felt like waking in a dream.
Sunlight spilled through high windows into Anna's room, touching Liam's cheeks as he giggled in his crib. She hadn't heard that sound in weeks. His color looked better. Better.
He had eaten warm formula from a brand new bottle, wrapped in a blanket that didn't smell like mildew. But Anna couldn't relax. She came downstairs, hair tied back, her thrift store sweater clinging to her body awkwardly in the polished, gleaming kitchen. Damon sat at the counter, reading emails on a sleek tablet. He looked like he belonged on a magazine cover. Perfect, distant, untouchable. She hesitated. "You didn't have to do all this." He nodded slightly. "You're welcome." She narrowed her eyes. "That's not what I meant. I'm grateful, but I don't want to be your charity case." That made him look up. His voice was calm, but firm. "I don't do charity." "Then what is this?" she snapped. "You let a stranger and her baby stay in your house, feed us, clothe us." "Why?" He leaned back slowly in his chair, studying her. "Because you needed help. And because your son smiled at me like I was something good." She blinked, caught off guard. "I don't want your pity, Damon," she said more quietly. "I've survived worse than being poor. What I can't survive is someone treating me like I'm weak." He stood up, his tall frame suddenly inches from hers. "Pity?" His voice dropped lower. "I don't pity you. I admire the hell out of you. You're holding your life together with tape and prayers, and you're still standing." Silence pulsed between them, her cheeks flushed with emotion, and something else she wasn't ready to name. She stepped back. "You don't know me," he smiled faintly. She turned and walked away, heart pounding. She didn't want to need him, but part of her already did. That night, the storm rolled in. Wind howled through the long corridors of the Wolf estate and thunder cracked across the sky. Anna had just laid Liam down when she felt it. His forehead warm. Too warm. She touched him again, then again. He whimpered softly. Her heart dropped. Liam, she whispered, lifting him. His skin burned through his onesie. He squirmed against her chest, fussing in discomfort. Anna rushed out of the room and down the hallway, barefoot, heart pounding. A Damon, she called, desperate. He appeared instantly from the study, no jacket, sleeves rolled up, his face suddenly sharp with concern. What is it? You get in the car. Now. The emergency pediatrician he knew personally was waiting at a private clinic. No waiting rooms, no paperwork. Liam was examined under warm lights, while Anna sat in a daze, her hands clenched on her lap. Damon stood beside her the whole time. Not once did he step away. When the doctor finally smiled and said it was a viral fever and not life-threatening, Anna broke down into silent tears of relief. Back at the mansion, she lay beside Liam in the nursery, refusing to sleep. Damon brought her tea. She didn't drink it. You should rest, he said quietly, sitting across the room. I can't, she whispered. I keep thinking if I sleep, something will go wrong. Then I'll wake up, and he'll be gone. Damon nodded slowly. I used to feel that way, about my little brother. When he was sick, I sat up all night just listening. Anna looked at him. You had a brother? He gave a sad smile. That word hit her like a wave. In the stillness of the room, the fire in the hearth crackling softly, Anna felt something shift. He wasn't just a man with money. He wasn't a savior. He was a man with cracks deeper than hers. Thank you, she whispered. Damon looked at her, eyes tired but warm. You don't have to thank me for staying. And he did, that entire night. Not as a billionaire, not as a rescuer, but as someone who couldn't bear the thought of losing them either. For days after Liam's fever broke, Damon barely left the nursery. He brought Anna coffee in the morning, sat with her in quiet moments, watched Liam sleep as if protecting the child with every breath. The walls Anna had so carefully built out of trauma, survival, and shame began to soften, not because Damon demanded it, but because he never once tried to knock them down. He simply stayed, and somehow staying meant everything. Somehow staying meant everything. One afternoon, Anna stepped into the library and found Damon asleep on the couch, Liam curled up on his chest like he belonged there. His tie was loose, his arm protectively draped around the baby, and for the first time, Damon Wolf didn't look like a CEO. He looked like a man who finally felt home. Anna watched, heart tight, emotions tangled between fear and longing. She whispered, You're not just saving us, you're becoming one of us. He stirred at her voice, blinking. I didn't mean to fall asleep, he mumbled. She walked over slowly. Liam hasn't let anyone else hold him that long. Not even me. Damon looked down at the tiny boy curled on his chest. He's got my heartbeat memorized now. Anna laughed softly. I guess that makes two of us. Their eyes met, and in that glance, something unspoken passed between them. A fragile thread of something that wasn't charity, or guilt, or even gratitude. It was belonging. Anna sat beside him, close but careful. Hey, what are we doing, Damon? He paused, searching her face. Something I should have done a long time ago. Trying to earn your trust. She looked at him, really looked. Not with money? He shook his head. With time. Choices was showing. A long silence fell between them, safe, still. Liam shifted in his sleep, his tiny hand brushing Damon's chest. Damon smiled down at him, unaware of how much love was written on his face. Anna leaned back and whispered, You're not the man I thought you were. He looked at her. No, he said. I'm better when I'm with you. Weeks passed. What began as one night of mercy had become a rhythm, a life neither of them had expected. Anna cooked in Damon's massive kitchen, while Liam giggled in a bouncer nearby. Damon came home early now. He spent more time pushing a stroller than signing contracts. His board of directors whispered, his assistants gossiped, but he didn't care. Because for the first time, he didn't feel alone. One night, while Liam slept peacefully, Anna stepped out onto the balcony. Damon followed, hands in his pockets. You've given us everything, she said quietly. But I can't stay here if it's out of guilt or pity. He turned to her. You think that's what this is? I think I'm a single mom with a broken past and no college degree. And you? Her voice cracked. You're a man who could have anyone. Damon stepped closer, his voice steady. And I chose you. Not because you needed saving, Anna, but because I did. She blinked, startled. I spent years building a life with walls so high, no one could reach me, he continued. until a tiny stranger asked me to pretend to be her dad, and I realized I didn't want to pretend anymore. Tears welled in her eyes. But it's not a fairy tale, Damon, he smiled. No, it's harder. But it's real. He pulled a small box from his coat. Inside wasn't a ring, but a single key. This isn't a proposal. Not yet. This is a choice. You're not a guest here. You're home. If you'll have me, Anna stared at the key, at the man before her, at the life they'd quietly built out of brokenness and baby formula and late-night feedings. She took the key and whispered, "If we were never meant to do this alone." He reached for her hand. "We won't. Not anymore. Not anymore." Inside the nursery, Liam stirred, then giggled in his sleep, safe, fed, and finally surrounded by love. Sometimes, family isn't what we're born with. It's what finds us when we have nothing left to give, but everything left to gain.